the Terror Insure Group post-game show here in Guymon, Oklahoma. The Guthrie Blue Jays take down the Guymon Tigers. Final score, 48-7. We continue with our on-field interviews presented by F&M Bank. Parker Burnett downstairs with my favorite high school head football coach.
Down here with Guthrie head coach Kelly Beeby. Coach, heck of a win tonight. You put up 48 points on the board. You get 5 turnovers. What part of the game were you most impressed with tonight?
Well, I mean, just first of all, we've been up here before, and you guys have been with us, and we've been in the 14-point hole in the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game with teams that made the semifinals, and so I just challenge these guys out here to try to have a fast start and try to lock in and be focused. You know, it's an odd day, and when we get out of school early, and you know, we have a 2.5-hour ride, and then a meal, and a 2.5-hour ride, and so that was the first thing I was proud of the coaches and the kids for, was just dealing with the break-in routine. You know, it helped us a little bit that we saw a similar style of offense a week ago from Piedmont. As far as, you know, preparation for this game, I thought our offensive line blocked extremely well. Of course, I think you guys had Ken over here, didn't you? I know you had Kale over here. Yeah, now Kale had a well of a ball game, a couple good returns and several tackles, and then Ken was very successful running the football tonight. You know, special teams were good. We had that one low kick, you know, and then we had the late turnover, and it's a good teaching tool. You know, anytime you turn the ball over, momentum shifts. You know, but it allowed us to practice our potential onside, you know, formation and our banjo movement out of that. So everybody stayed, you know, healthy. Kale probably could have finished in a different situation. We pulled him because we got to have him. But other than that, I think everybody stayed healthy, and it was just good for our kids to come out and I know the opponent we played, but I felt like we executed as far as where we were supposed to be blocking. I thought our receiver blocking on the edge was really good anytime the tailback successful. You know, in the defense, I thought we were really physical and played good assignment football. So a good night for us, and guys, we needed it. You know, we needed a good night. And hats off to Coach Davis. You know, his kids lined up, played hard all night long, and we were trying to be mindful of that in the second half.
Coach, I was excited for Talik to get a touch, find a different way to get him the football with the reverse, which Josh Raines had a great block. You'll appreciate that on game film. But it was good to see Talik get some positive things going. Yeah,
absolutely, Chris, and I know Phil's up there too. You know, we've as it turned out, you know, we've played some awfully good competition up to this point, and I always say steel sharpens steel. You know, so hopefully that's going to pay dividends for us the second half of the season as we get into the Woodward and the Carl Albert, McGinnis, and Lott Nike, and you know, we had a pretty good intense moment of fellowship on Monday, obviously, after the Piedmont game, and you know, we just tried to rededicate ourselves to our fundamentals and our basics and our physicality. You know, and again, we've got a long way to go. You know, and the kids were saying on the sideline, you know, I did this, I did that. I told them to enjoy this. There's no such thing as a bad win.
Right.
It does not exist. But hopefully this will be a bit of a catalyst for us, you know, as we move on through the season.
Nothing's guaranteed in high school football because Carl Albert's learning that right now. Piedmont with a 10-6 lead in the third quarter, Phil.
Yeah, Coach, Phil here. I think, you know, I'm glad we got this W here. Looking forward to next week.
Huge.
Chris and I were talking. It's such an
enormous ball game.
Oh, I think it's one of the biggest ball games we've had in the last several years.
It's real reminiscent of 2017 Woodward.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
You know, and I told the guys before we walked down the hill tonight, I said, guys, we are in the playoffs right now. I mean, you know, we are get 15 points, find a way, and advance. We've got to have that foxhole mentality right now. And that is just our situation, you know, getting behind the 8 ball in the first district loss to Piedmont. And you know, if it's treated right and handled right within the team structure, you know, something like that happening to you can be a good thing if it motivates in the proper way. So, and that's how we try to do it with the kids. So we'll see how it continues to unfold. I'm excited to be back at Jelsma. Got a really good, solid, hard-nosed Woodward team coming in as usual. and should be an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, Coach. We knew you guys would coach him up this week. Kel talked about it in his interview. He said he went back, took it back old school, went back to having practices like Guthrie used to have. Got a little chippy, got a little physical. I think that's great for these kids.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I loved it. And Cale, he's such a leader for us.
Yeah.
And he's been banged up, for several weeks, and
right.
And you got to force him to say anything.
Tough kid.
But he's a tough kid, and he's one of our leaders, and he understands, fundamentally what we want to do. Win, lose, or draw, we want to go out and play discipline, and we want to play tough football and represent our town and community.
Right.
That's the challenge laying ahead of us as we move forward.
Well, we might get home at between 2 and 3 o'clock if everything goes well, but 48-7 will make it a little bit more of an easier drive home.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the guys were saying over there you could get the score to lap and see some of that Piedmont Carl Albert.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
We may look at that while we eat a hamburger and have Larry drive us home for Heritage Freightliners.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Coach. Best of luck next week. We'll talk to you then.
Good win, Coach.
We had to, Phil, you tell me, but we may have had a record crowd out here.
Well, I tell you what, Chris and I talked about that, and we were doing the over-under like we do every year when we travel out here. And we had over 40 people in the stand.
I'm going to tell you, you and I have talked about this before, Phil, over the years. I think 31 or 2 has been kind of a high water mark.
No, I think that beat them this year, which speaks a lot. We said, Chris brought it up last week, said our kids got, we need the fans more than ever now to support these kids, support our coaching staff, our community, our school. And they didn't disappoint again. You don't know this, but huge numbers viewing and watching tonight and listening, and that's it's that support that Guthrie always gives the program.
And these kids need to understand that, and I try to stress that to them, how what this community and all of it means within the football program, and how it needs to be reciprocated.
Yep. Well, they've been conducting themselves professional, even with a tough loss last week. We've talked about this, Coach. You want to win every darn one of them, but you just can't. And bottom line is, if you conduct yourself like a winner and a competitor, that's a win. And this whole year, I haven't seen one situation where these kids haven't conducted themselves professionally.
They've had chances to.
They have, but they've done a good job holding on.
Coach, go eat a burger.
Fellas, I appreciate you.
Thank
you guys
you.
have a safe trip.
Thanks, buddy.
That is the head coach of the Guthrie Blue Jays, Coach Kelly Beeby, on our F&M Bank on-field interview. Take a timeout, come back and wrap it up here on the broadcast from Guymon. Blue Jays win. Final score 48-7.